Bop, 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 bom. All right, going live, going live, going live, and I believe we are now live. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Flipside. It has been a few days, has it not? I do apologize for the lack of content over the last week, but it was for a pretty good reason. At least for me and my family, it was for a pretty good reason. We have been on the Dice Tower cruise for the past week, and we just got back yesterday. Now, the cruise actually ended on Sunday, but we had a... oh, David Brownlee is here. Hello, hello. Zexto is here. Good to see you back. Thank you very much, Zexto. I appreciate that. The cruise actually got back on Sunday, and then we spent, me, my family, JT and Mel, JT's wife, spent our time, our entire day, as a matter of fact. I kind of overshot, compensating for how long it might take to get off the boat, and I set our flight times for 6 p.m. Well, we left the boat at 9, and it took all of probably 30 minutes to get off the boat from when we actually left our room to when we were actually calling our Uber to come pick us up. It was incredibly fast. We didn't have to wait for our luggage because we didn't have them take it the night before, as I have done in the past. So I learned some things here. It's a lot easier to get off the boats when you come back to port if you just take your luggage with you and don't have them bring it down for you. It is super fast. So if you have like rolling luggage and you don't have a problem carrying them or rolling them, it is so much easier and so much faster to get off the boat. You don't have to wait for your own time. You can just basically walk off, I believe, whenever you wish. So it was so much easier to get off the boat than what I remember in the past, and it's because I think it's because we just decided to take our luggage with us. We didn't have somebody load it up and then take it off the boat, and then we have to go pick it up again. Vanessa G is here. Hey, Vanessa, good to see you. Welcome back, Sam. She says, thank you. David Brownlee says, thanks for giving me another reason to put off packing for my trip to Texas. Don't do that. You're going to God's country, man. Get packed. Get ready to go. Kabuki Kid is here. Hello. Hello, hello. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Hello, everybody. Funny how long it took to put wheels on luggage. Luggage seriously didn't have wheels when I was a kid. What an obvious thing to do. Good evening, one and all. Terrier Halo, good evening. Hello, hello. Good to see y'all. And Kabuki, isn't that like... That should have been one of the first things they did to put on luggage. I guess it used to be, except for those big like chests, it used to be that suitcases were not that big. But as they grew, I'm sure that's what probably gave someone the light bulb to put wheels on them. But absolutely, I agree with you. Aussie Solo Gamers here. Hey all, and Sam, happy Wednesday morning. Nice to watch on the way to work. Wednesday morning. Aussie Solo Gamers from the future, y'all. What's up? Good to see you. So yeah, it's pretty cool. We had a literal blast. We first of all, I want to give props to the Dice Tower. They were super generous. They comped one of our rooms. So basically that cut our expenses in half. And then doing our excursions and purchasing them on Black Friday also continued that, basically cutting our expenses in half because they do wicked special deals on excursions if you book them in advance like that, if you have the ability to. Maybe you don't, but the Dice Tower was super and like super duper generous, and I can't thank them enough. My wife, Jessie, and the kids simply enjoyed themselves. I don't know that Aiden played too many games. He was just on the basketball court and in the gym and in the youth center and just really having a good time. Strider is back home. You want to come say hi, Strider? Come here. Come here. Come say hi. Come say hi. Yeah, Strider's not feeling too good. He got a little bit of an eye infection at the kennel. Otherwise, though, they kept really good care of him, and they actually applied some eye salve while he was there as well. So we're gonna keep an eye on that and see how he's doing. But you want to come say hi? No, you want to come say hi? Yeah, I went and picked him up this morning, and he was super happy to see me. And I went and took him to see Mama at work, didn't I? Yes. So he's happy to be home, I think. Yeah, he said hi to his neighbor this morning too. But we're super glad to be back. We're super glad to have him. Oh no, shake. But we had a great time, and I can't thank the Dice Tower enough. They were super generous, super helpful, and Jason did a really good job of putting all of that together. And of course, Tom and the rest of the crew too. It's not just Jason, but I mean, Jason does a lot of the high level administrative type work, working straightly with wet travel and with the boat, and being the liaison there. So that is a lot of work. I'm not trying to diminish Jason's capacity there, but I also don't want to diminish the rest of the crew that helped out so much as well, as far as, you know, people getting the stuff on the boats, the library. Good night. I've in jest given the Dice Tower some guff about their library in the past, but honestly, it's one of the best libraries I've seen. We actually poked fun a little bit on one of the days. We had a top 5 games that aren't in the Dice Tower library, and Tom was up there, and he didn't give a top 5. He was just there to talk about why Mike, Z, and I's choices, and there were others as well that were able to come up. Camilla, Chris, Jason, and others to come up and give their and Tom was there to give his reasoning on why those games weren't in the library. So we had a bunch of fun there. But seriously, what a great library to take to Dice Tower East, Dice Tower West, the cruise. It's just a really good thing. So a lot of work went into getting that library ready to go, and all of the volunteers that helped out manning the checking in, checking out station during the course of the cruise, and then packing up the library, getting it ready to go at the end. There's just a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, and I can't be more grateful for the time they gave myself and my family in getting us there. So super thank you for that. Back here now, suitcases are big enough to fit a body in them. Yes, that is absolutely true. Welcome back. Sam Paul Rose says, hello, Paul Rose. Good to see you. You might want to stick in there for a little bit, Paul. We're going to be unboxing something that you might take some interest in. So there you go. Let's see here. Terrier Halo, they spent too much time in the 60s trying to put rockets on luggage. Set the wheel revolution back 20 years. Okay. Blake Cavaney is here. Hello, Blake. Good to see you. He has been a member for 2 months at the Truffle Shuffle level. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Blake. I really, really do. Let's see here. Zexto. Now we most of the time have to carry our own luggage. Then we are fast to find ways to make it easy for yourself. Yes, that is correct. Stupid long ad. Could you not click it? Could you not click through? Because I've set them to click through. You can skip them if you want to. So maybe it just takes a long time. Come on, do it. Let's see here. Terry O'Hale. Gimli the Jack Russell is getting ready for bed by sleeping on my legs. Gimli the Jack Russell. All right, Jack Russell Terrier. Awesome. Jan says, hey, Sam, so good to see you. Could you tell us anything about Mythic Games and what's the statue's status of hell? Jan, I will come back to that in just a few seconds. Jason doesn't sleep, Vanessa says. That's how he gets everything done. The gaming machine. That is probably correct. or there's some truth to that. He probably sleeps less than many people, because he does have a pretty intense job on top of everything that he does for the Dice Tower. So last summer I went to see The Machine in the cinema at the cinema, left halfway when I found out it wasn't Jason Levine biopic. Well, I don't know that I would have gone there. So while Sam and family were enjoying the warmth and fun of the Caribbean, I was sick all week and freezing my butt off. Everyone who owns a Jack Russell should name them Jack, Kabuki Kid says. Well, Vanessa, I can imagine. I did see a meme while we were on the cruise that said Florida has chosen not to participate in winter, and it showed a map, and I'm sure it's probably not a real map of all of the different cold climate through most of the United States, and then Florida had like 80s and 70s and 80s. So yes, that is absolutely true. Tom says Jason relaxes in spurts. That is true as well. I've seen Jason kind of chill out, and it is few and far between, but he does. I could skip the ad, but it made me wait 15 seconds. 15 seconds? I thought it's usually only 5. Wow, 15 seconds. Man. So, there is some truth to that, Blake. So, the cruise was absolutely a fun time, absolutely a smashing success. We did have a great time. Now, before I move on to talking more about the Dice Tower cruise, I do want to go back and talk to answer Jan's question, because even on the cruise, I met a few people that still thought I am still working for Mythic Games. I am not working for Mythic Games. I have not worked for Mythic Games since May of 2022. So we're going on almost 2 years now that I've not been employed by Mythic Games. When they began running into their financial difficulties, they began laying people off. I was one of the first because A, I was remote, and B, because of the cost of living here in the States, my salary was a little bit higher. So a larger chunk of money is getting cut out of the budget, basically, and the fact that I was a remote worker, and they cut people that way first. And again, I don't know the formula that they use. I don't know the decision-making process behind that. I was one of the first to get laid off, and then they began to cut more and more as they needed to. So until they got back to a core of people, I guess, with which they're trying to keep the company afloat. But all that is to simply say I've not been working for Mythic Games for almost 2 years now. So unfortunately, Jan, I cannot answer your question. I do not have any insider knowledge or anything like that as to what's going on with Mythic or with Hell the Last Saga. I will say that Hell the Last Saga was the one game that they ran as a Kickstarter that I was really and just put in about 15 more reallys there, wanting for it to see the light of day. And for the last few months I was there, it was the one thing that I was really trying to fight hardest for, because for personal reasons. I just really enjoyed the game. I really enjoyed the theme. I thought it was just an amazing thing. So, but I do not have any information at all. I have only reached out a couple of times to Benoit and Leo, and that's really just more of on a friendly type basis, saying happy birthday on their birthdays and hello every once in a while. And I don't think we've even coincided at conventions or anything like that. So I don't have any information about Mythic Games. I don't have any information about Hell the Last Saga. I have not been working for Mythic Games for almost 2 years now, so I apologize. I can't help you there. Let's see here. This is the time to be in Florida. Best weather the state has in the winter like this. Well, I just don't like the humidity. I'll just be very frank and honest with you. I understand that the temperatures are not, you know, down in the 30s and 20s and or negatives or whatever, but I do not like the humidity. I was very, very happy to come home. I was very happy to get back to where it has been snowing. But I understand that the storms have really hit a lot of people hard. People have lost power. People are, so I'm not trying to lessen the impact that some places have had. But as far as if I can have my pick between Florida weather and Washington State weather, I'll take Washington State weather. So we had negative 38 Celsius here a couple of weeks ago. It was a good time to sit inside and paint minis, I would imagine. Good night. We were mostly in the teens, Vanessa said, and wind chill in the negatives. That's Fahrenheit, mind you, yes. I try not to keep track of the wind chill. Yeah, well, I mean, wind chill, to me, at least, just like humidity, it affects how it feels. And that's more important to me than what the actual temperature is. So, I mean, if you know, in Texas and when I was in the Gulf Coast, if we had 90-degree heat, I was like, okay, that's not bad. But when it feels like 105 because of the humidity, ugh, yuck. I will do without that, thank you very much. I know that negative 40 degrees Celsius is the same as negative 40 Fahrenheit. Huh, interesting. I didn't know that. If it gets below freezing, I'm out. But just above freezing, I love the way it feels. Yeah, I kind of like that too. Below freezing, that gets a little troublesome. Absolutely. Below zero, rather. Terrier Halo, yep, there's a magic number where you can switch the thermometer between Fahrenheit and Celsius without changing numbers. We don't get that here that often. Yeah, Florida is usually often pretty humid. That is correct. Texas had some power issues again due to the cold. Yep. Blake says, I can't deal with humidity. Neither can I. Jan, thanks so much for answering. Let's hope they will still put out hell or sell the IP to someone who will put it out on the market. I really hope that they are able to put it out themselves. I know they're trying to do Mythic, that is. I think, I don't know, but I think from what I know of the people, they're trying to do the best they can with a very bad situation. So unfortunately, they're having a rough go of it still. But I do hope as well that Hell the Last Saga sees the light of day. I think it's a tremendously good game, and I think it'll be a great experience. Humidity in the South is awful. Vanessa says, I experience it through enough when I visit my aunt and uncle in South Carolina. Washington State weather doesn't get crazy, Blake says. You don't get a ton of snow. It usually doesn't get very cold and usually doesn't get too hot. Well, yeah, that might be true on the other side of the mountains. It gets pretty hot here in the summer, but it doesn't stay hot for very long. We usually have about I don't know, 2 to 4 weeks in the summer where it hits 100 or more. And those are pretty long days. But you are correct in that there isn't a very large extreme to which the weather goes to here in Washington State. And that's one of the reasons why I like it so much. Sam's feelings are the most important. I don't know about that, Robert. Good to see you, though, by the way. Thanks for being here, buddy. It's 51 degrees here right now in Tacoma. It's the perfect temperature. Let's see, what is it right now here in Wenatchee? Let's see, where is it? Well, that's showing me SeaTac. I don't want SeaTac. There we go, 41. 41 degrees. Supposed to be over 50 here in a day or so, Kabuki Kid says. That's cool. Texas really needs to update their infrastructure to account for cold and snow, but they probably will not. JT is here. Hello, JT. Good to see you. And Jesse is here. Hello. Good to see you. Oh, I went a little Doubtfire there for a minute. Hello. That's cool. All right. So, Dice Tower Cruise. I'll go back to talking about that because I'm caught up. Oh! All right, Jasmine Radius. Okay, well, all right. That's a request that I can honor. Jasmine says, "Hey Sam, will you start the unboxing before us poor Europeans have to call it a day?" Yes, I'll do that. From the UK, it's been pretty cold here for months, and we get a lot of rain. So when it gets humidity crazy high, that is good. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the unboxing right now so that you folks that are in Europe that are watching can go to bed at a reasonable hour, and I won't keep you up that much late, or you won't stay up anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. So first things first, we got some of these in. These are some stickers that I had ordered. I found a little sticky brand is what I think it's called. But anyway, they had a little thing going on, and I saw it on Facebook, so I was like, let's give it a try. So these are some stickers that we had ordered, some vinyl stickers that we had ordered for the Flipside. So these are going to be going up for sale here pretty soon on our website. And, you know, they're just pretty much those stickers that you can put on the water bottles and whatnot that have kind of a plasticky feel to them, but they usually stick pretty well. That's what these are. Had them made so that they kind of have a unique shape to them. So that's pretty cool. We're going to be having those available here pretty soon. Got 100 of them made, so that's pretty cool. That's an unboxing, part of the unboxing, but not the unboxing. So here we go. Here is the box. Now, a buddy of mine in the UK is making a game, and he sent me a prototype, and that's what this is. And it showed up while we were gone, so I'm going to go ahead and get this opened here so that we can see what's on the inside. I think there's going to be some pretty cool stuff in here, so we are going to do that. I've scratched off all of the names and addresses for protecting the innocent, but that is how that goes. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. All right, box looks a bit beaten. It does look like it's packaged pretty well, so it's not that big of a deal. All right, so let's go ahead and go down to the second angle here so we can get going. All right, so here we have this box that is opened, and this is from Triskelion Games. It's called The Thinning Veil. But again, like I said, it is a prototype, and it is a kind of a part of the game, I guess, is the best way to call it. So we'll put that out there, and let me make sure there's nothing else in here. Doesn't look like it. Just a bunch of packaging. That's probably really loud, I apologize. But I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. That's pretty much it. All right. Cormac MacArt on the other side of midnight. So that's what this is here. And box beaten, not stirred. That is correct. What? We can't hear you. Sorry. All right. So here's some stuff. Now again, before I get into this, it looks decidedly grimdark. Well, it kind of is. So now, before we get into this though, please remember this is a prototype. These are prototype components that were just printed out. So you have a rule book here that basically has everything that's going on. Component overview, so it shows all of that stuff and so forth. A little bit. So anyway, some cards here with some of the anatomy of the cards and so forth. Okay. All right. And then there's a scenario book. We won't look through that, but there is a scenario book there, The Thinning Veil. And, oh, it looks like we have a A dice tray. What? Oh, man, that's a thick one, too. Goodness. Am I going to be able to put that together? Yep. Oh. Well, there it goes. That went there. Boom. 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 Man, that is a thick dice tray. But it's neat. Decidedly grim dark indeed. Here are some of the different tiles and the artwork that is put out there. Pretty cool looking artwork. And again, like I said earlier, I just want to keep making sure it's clear. These are all prototype components. So, but looks pretty interesting. I like, hopefully you guys can see that. I think you can. I think you see it pretty well. But anyway, there's different paths and so forth in there. A couple of larger tiles here as well. So it looks pretty interesting. There's another smaller one. Then we have, these are freaking awesome. Then we have the player boards. So you have Cormac McCart right here. A little bit of a flavor text behind. So that's pretty neat. And so the player board is here. You can put it in and it gives you what each of these different things are, it looks like. So you can play with Cormac, or you can play with Grainy. And as you can see, the different things are changed depending upon who you're playing with. So that's pretty interesting. Place your hero card in this slot. Yep. So that's a pretty cool player board, actually. I like that a lot. Really neat. Then we have dice. Again, prototype copy. Don't know how the dice are going to be, but that's just the way it is. Then we have a bunch of tokens and so forth. So we'll just give out some of these. We won't have too many here, but you do have like a rat, some glowing green heads, a treasure chest with it opened on the other side, a token for Cormac and Grainy, and so forth. So little green whirly wind of some kind. So there's a lot of stuff going on here as well. I'm intrigued by the world that this game is set within. That's my intrigue venture here. So we do have some miniatures, and again, these are 3D printed miniatures. So there's going to be some pretty cool parts to them, but that's pretty cool. These are pretty nice minis. But just realize that these are 3D printed, and of course sculpted minis are going to be a little bit more, first of all, durable, and they're going to be a little bit more detailed as well. So this is just to give you an idea of some of the sculpts they have out there. So I'll get in closer with these, don't worry. I'm just going to get them all out first and go from there. So that's pretty cool. These are... Oh, that dude is wicked looking, man. What is this? Oh, I bet you this one goes on this. Yep, looks like a little... Looks like a damage. Looks like one of them got damaged, so I'll have to try to fix that one. We'll hold that off to the side. But the rest of these, let's see if I can get these out. Looks like there's Cormac. Looks like. We'll see. And, oh wow. Yep, there's one of them. There's one of them right there. That's one of the ones that got busted, I think. Yeah. The problem with 3D minis is that they're so fragile. There's another one that got the spear, the tip of the spear came off, so I'm going to keep that spear in there. Try to fix that later. But the minis, even though they're 3D printed, look really cool. So I know they're going to come out looking really awesome. Whoa! This one's pretty cool too. Sweet. Yeah. Awesome. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get that camera going so that we can get in a little bit tighter on these so you can see a little bit more of what you're looking at. Just a second. All right, let's see. Gonna move that over a little bit. Move it up and then just zoom in. And we're gonna have to get it focused again. Just give me a second. Give me a second. I'll get you where you need to be. Oh, that might be pretty close. That might be pretty close. Yep, there we go. All right. All right. Back. So as you can see here, these are just pretty neat looking minis, and the scale is pretty cool too. So I don't know what's in here. Ooh, special dice. Translucent cubes. Ooh, chonky dice. Look at those. I like it. So a big, chonky 12-sided die. Let's put it back here. And then a good bit of, let me put this back here so I can keep track of it. A good bit of other dice too. These look pretty cool. I don't think those got on screen though. Let me see, let me put some of these guys over here. Boom, like that. That way we can move these back here. And you got some dark colored ones as well. Those are nice custom dice. I like them a lot. So, not a whole lot on actual gameplay here. I got to read the rule book, and that's one of the things that Paul and I have been talking about. Paul Rose is the designer of this game. He was here earlier, and so that's one of the things we've been talking about. He and I both want me to kind of try to do the best I can with the rule book as it is, so that we can kind of get a read on, no pun intended, get a read on how the rule book works, and if it needs some updating and so forth and so on. So we're going to be doing that as well. I do have some of the cards here. Let's take a look at those real quick, and then we'll get you guys on the way. Let's see here. Okay, so the Blight Rat looks like one of these things here. Not this, one of these things. Yeah, one of these little doohickeys, the Blight Rat. And that's what this guy is. Boom. So just some of the cards here, just so you can see the artwork. I think that's pretty good. I apologize my sniffling. It was super cold in the Fort Lauderdale airport, and I only had like shorts and a t-shirt on, and I think that kind of gave it. So just giving you an idea of all of these different cards there. Oh, I don't like spiders. That's a cool looking spider though. So then you have this one right here as well. So that's pretty cool, man. These are all the bad guys, as you can tell. Then you have different skill cards, and those basically just have like letters on them, you know, different kinds of abilities and whatnot. Then you have a whole bunch of treasure cards, I guess. Treasures, potions. Let's see here. Yeah, a bunch of treasure cards out here, like healing potion, dancing mushroom, a torch, a snow mushroom, more torches, quicksilver remedy, rusty dagger. So these are pretty neat too, and I like the design of them. They're pretty basic, but they do its job, I guess. We'll see. And some potions out there, some helmets and so forth. So just kind of giving you an idea of what's out there. Then you have like scroll of purification, scroll of restoration. These just look like so. They give the effects. And again, once again, these are all just prototype copies. These could change in their final form. So, but you get the idea. Ooh, a rat bone. Yummy. All right, so those are the cards, pretty much. And we showed you the bad guys as well. So that's pretty much it. I'm looking forward to diving into this. It looks like a thematically rich universe. And you know me, I'm one to be all down for that. So we're going to put all these dice back. And we'll get all this stuff put away a little bit later, because I want to get back to you guys and see where you're going from there. All right, back up to the main. JT. JT says, I'm in. Let's see here. I like those dice trays. I have a couple of them with different prints. Yep. Message deleted by Kabuki Kid. Thank you, Kabuki. Looks very good for a prototype. I will say, John, that I know Paul's been putting in the work to make sure that the prototype looks pretty good. Now, these are all just 3D printed, but I mean, it's work, all right, to get these printed out, to get them into a box, to get them padded, and to get them basically here as well as they actually showed up. There is a lot of work there, and Paul has been doing that work for us, so it is very good to be a prototype. That is absolutely sure. Sleeving while I listen. The already open pack of sleeves had exactly the number of sleeves I needed. It is a good day. David, that's funny. JT is sold. Yep. Terrier Halo. You can get really nice details on 3D prints these days. Beats a lot of the board game ones. Not everyone has GW money to spend all on molds. That is correct, Terrier Halo. But yes, if there's something thin, you are in trouble. That is correct. I'm in the process of sculpting a robe on 3D printed mini that I'm using for the Star Wars RPG. Have to be careful when pushing things around. Understood. I love D12s. They are fun to roll. That is true as well. Let's see. Gaming with ADHD. Hello. Good morning. That is Brian. Brian just probably woke up after his. He works when most of us are asleep. So thank you for being here, Brian. I appreciate that. Godzilla there. Timo6219. Hello. Good to see you too. It was cold on the plane too. Yes, it was, but not as cold as it was in Fort Lauderdale's airport. Terminal 2 was pretty stinking cold. I'd paid money for those STLs right now, Terrier Halo says. Rat, it's what's for dinner. That's funny. That's what you call sleeve satisfaction, having the exact amount as needed. Last time I played a Star Wars game, it was all D6. Star Wars RPG, that is. All right, cool. Well, I tell you what, that was the prototype unboxing that we're going to share. I'm looking forward to getting into this game. Got to get the rulebook read, of course, first, but that is what's coming up very soon. Let's see. I've got, and I hate this. I hate that I do, but I've got to go blow my nose. So I am going to step out for just a second. I will be right back. And yes, I will turn off the mic so that you don't need to listen. And that is that. So I apologize for that brief interruption. That is super unprofessional of me, but it's kind of how things go here on the flip side. Jasmine says there will be an STL option during the campaign. Hey. Sexy chair. The curious box. What kind of plastic will the minis be in the game? That I don't know. I think Paul is here, and I believe Jasmine is also part. I'm not sure about that, but I think Paul is here, so maybe Paul can answer that question for you. What kind of plastic will the minis be in the game? Drain the schnoz. Yeah, pretty much. I've blown my nose far too much in this past week. Thankfully, I'm almost back to normal. Keeping it real, my dude. Yep, that's pretty much what we are doing. Now, Paul, we do have a question. What kind of plastics will be used in the production of the game, or what are you going to shoot for? I know we haven't actually gone through. We have talked about that. I haven't asked you that question, but I'm sure you've probably already thought about it. So if you could answer that question, I would be... You're not unprofessional. Your nose is. Blame it. Yes, I will blame my nose. And by the way, I now know how to say I don't care in ASL now, I think. So it's like this, I think. No, it's my dominant hand. So right, and just do this. Whatever. I don't care. So that's just the way it is. It's funny how that goes. I will do the German translation. We will do some resin printed minis for those that can't print them. Well, there you go. All right. You can speak advanced squad leader? Impressive. No, I cannot speak advanced squad leader. I think I'm too young for that. It is, as Jasmine said, an STL-supported campaign. We are exploring standee options at this time to upgrade on the tokens. There you have it. Thank you for that answer, Paul. I appreciate it. And thank you, while you're here, thank you for sending me this prototype. I am looking forward to it. I really am. Talking with Paul over the last few weeks as we've been kind of getting ready to do this. I've experienced his passion for this project and for projects like it. He's super deep into RPGs, and this has a flair of that. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't care. Yeah, whatever. Like you're tossing the snot away. That's disgusting. That's gross, Vanessa. You shouldn't have said that, but it's funny. All right. Back to talking about the Dice Tower cruise. All right, so we get down there, and we are able to fly together with JT and Mel, which was a super cool thing because we both have, like, not super busy, but busy lives. So we aren't able to spend a lot of time with both JT and Mel. And so it was very cool to be able to just kind of chill and hang with them for a lot this week. And then it was just, an absolute bonus that we were able to do it on the cruise. So that was really cool. Anyway, we fly down there, and we get to we basically flew in the day before we boarded the boat, and that night we were super tired, so we just kind of went to bed. And we needed to get up early anyway to get to the boat, and because we had Jason was kind enough to get me, my family, and JT and Mel on early boarding, which made that process super easy as well. So that was a huge another thing to thank Jason for. So that's coming. That's a really cool thing. So we get on the boat about I don't know. Our check-in time was, I think, 10 o'clock. And we got there. We got on the boat, and we were able to kind of walk around, get lunch, and then we had the check-in. Then we had meet and greet. So that was all cool as well. And basically, it was just a. I mean, man, it's hard. I wish Jessie was here because she's so much. She's so better at articulating excitement than I am. Because I struggle with putting everything in chronological order, and that's where I get hung up. I get hung up. Well, did that happen first, or did this happen first? And Jessie doesn't care. She's just like, well, this was cool, and then this was cool, and then this was cool, and then this was cool. And so I'm trying to struggle going through chronologically, and it's just gumming me up here. But it was such a blast to, first of all, see Jessie enjoying it as much as she did. To be able to be there with JT and Mel and see how much they were enjoying things. And one of the first things that JT and I did together was we were able to play. Oh no, I've forgotten the name. Galactic Cruise on, I think it was, let's see, we boarded on Sunday, and then, so I think Monday morning, I'm pretty sure Monday morning, we were able to play Galactic Cruise like at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And that was really fun. I'm super glad. I put it on my top 10 games of anticipation for 2024. Kind of, not really, just on a whim. I hadn't really had it demoed. I'd read a bit about it, and it looked cool. I liked the way it looked. It looked like it was going to be a heavy kind of game, and it pretty much is. But it looked like a thematically rich game, and that's what I liked about it. That's why I put it on a 10. I didn't really know much more about it to put it any higher than that. But I'm really glad it made my top 10 anticipated games because we both really enjoyed it. JT has basically said that he's going to auto back it as soon as it comes out. So as soon as the campaign launches, and I believe they're launching in, I want to say February, but I could be wrong. It might be March, mid-March or something like that. But that was a really fun experience. Had a great time doing that. After that day, I can't remember what we did that day. I think we just played a bunch of other games with other people, and we were kind of going. There was a little bit of a hiccup in that the conference center was super muggy. There wasn't a whole lot of, because it's kind of inside the ship, there isn't a whole lot of air circulation down there. They do have air conditioning vents, and that's good. If you're sitting underneath one of those air conditioning vents, it's super fine. But the further away from those vents you get, the stuffier it got. And then when you cram, like, I don't know, I would say probably 150 people in that gaming room where the library was, all those 98.7s add up pretty quickly. So it makes the air conditioner work pretty stinking hard. And so it was a little stuffy in there. But the cool thing about it is that they had other places where you could go game. The main dining hall, most of the day, up until about 4 o'clock, from like 7 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you could go in there and game. And then from, I think, around 7 o'clock until, I can't remember the cutoff time, but it was like, I would never stay up that late anyway. You could play up in the Windjammer, which was the other kind of where the buffet is, up on deck 16. So they had a lot of different places where you could play, and those other places were very well ventilated. But there were always, always is a little bit of a loose term, but more often than not, you could go into the library area, the conference center, and there would be no room to play. There were people in there all the time. So it might just be me, but I did hear other people saying that it was a little stuffy in there, but maybe I'm just a little bit more sensitive to that anyway. Thunderous clap with the hand rubbing afterwards. Sorry. Oh, man. Paul Rose says, you are very welcome. I am happy to support the learning of the game and supplying a PDF soon with an update on scenarios. You can get to play all of it in time. Appreciate that. Was the flight direct? Yes. We did have a direct flight. Jessie is here, yes, but I'll let her, we are going to be letting her give her report and her review of the Dice Tower cruise probably this Saturday in full. In our regular live Q&A, we'll do that. And we're both jonesing to get back to our regular clip on that. So I got jury duty in February. Boo. Oh, man, sorry. I almost had jury duty last year, but I got out of it. I seriously get called so often, they sometimes do it too soon, and I have to call them to fix it. Supposed to not be more than once every 3 years. When I moved down to Florida, I got called, I think I got called 3 times, maybe, no, it was 3 times. I got called 3 times in about 6 years for jury duty. And the reason that worked out the way it did is because I got called for, I think it was county jury duty service, and I also got called for federal jury duty service, and they are separate. So if you get called in January for jury duty service for the county, you can get called the next month for jury duty with federal, if it works out that way. It just happened to work out that way. I haven't been called for jury duty up here yet. Knock on wood. My wife Jessie has been called. She had to go all the way over to Spokane. She had to travel 3 hours to go to jury duty, stay overnight. Luckily, she was not forced to serve on the actual, she was not called to actual serve on the actual jury. She was able to come back home after just 1 day there, but that was a little bit of a stressful time for her. Yes, you get to give a report, Jesse. And it's not really a report. It's just, you know, you talk about your excitement a lot better than I do. Some other highlights of the cruise for us were, well, for me at least, was Jamaica. Jamaica, we had a great time. We went and did the Dunn's River Falls climb, where you actually walk down to where the Dunn's River flows into the sea, and then you get to walk up, or basically hike up, climb up the waterfall there. And it's just a super fun experience. The reason I enjoyed it so much is because all of us enjoyed it. We all had a blast. And so I loved seeing the kids just really enjoy it, because teenagers can be a little bit meh, ho-hum about some of these activities that we as adults and parents plan. And that was not the case this time. That morning, my son Aiden was just really being, you know, hemming and hawing about having to, you know, go on an excursion where he was going to get wet. He didn't want to get wet and all this other kind of stuff. And I was like, dude, I'm telling you, you're going to want to get wet. You're going to want to do this. This is going to be a blast. And so we did, and of course he did. He had a blast. He really enjoyed it. We had great guides. We had great leaders. And that just makes the experience so much better. So we really enjoyed that. We got to go to the Green Grotto Caves, where some scenes in a James Bond movie were filmed. I can't remember the name of the movie. I've never really been a big James Bond fan. Film, I enjoy them, don't get wrong, but I didn't, you know, remember all of them. Live and Let Die, I want to say. Or something to that effect. Anyway, so that was kind of a highlight for me. The Amiga Island excursion that we went on in, what was that? I almost said Habadi Lady. In Labadee, Haiti, we did an excursion where we went to a secluded island that was kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It's a little tiny island. It took all of like 10 minutes to walk around if you walked around the beach of the island. And so we took about a little 30-minute boat ride out to the island from the cruise ship, and spent a couple hours on the island just kind of chilling out, enjoying the beach, enjoying the water. And then 30-minute boat ride back. The entire experience was very cool. So that was another highlight. Galactic Cruise, playing Galactic Cruise was a highlight. Got to play Battlestar Galactica with David Peterson, his buddy Deke, and JT and Mel and myself. And it was fun. It was a great time because it was JT and Mel's first experience with the game. And David did a great great job teaching it, running it. And it was just really fun. We tried to do it at night, but it just didn't work out because we had a really early morning the next day, so we didn't want to stay up all night playing Battlestar Galactica. So we had to change it, and we were trying to get Roy to play with us because playing BSG with Roy is just a fun experience. Well, playing any game with Roy is a fun experience, but especially so if it's Battlestar. But we couldn't do that. But that was a really fun experience too. I was a Cylon from the get-go, and I made some mistakes playing too many bad cards in succession, and everybody was able to kind of will it down pretty quickly. Maybe about four tests in that I was a Cylon just by the cards I was playing. I just didn't do a very good job there, and so they threw me in the brig, and so I went ahead and revealed because it was nothing given at that point. I was probably going to stay in the brig if I didn't do something. So I just revealed that I was a Cylon, and that was like maybe a turn or so around before we got our second round of loyalty cards. And sure enough, I got the other Cylon card. So I was able to give that to JT and make him a Cylon with me. And then we proceeded to barely win. And I mean barely win. I think the humans were at 7 distance, and they needed to get to 8. But everything was like really low. Population, water, morale, everything was just super low. And fuel even was kind of low. David was able to play a card where he actually got him a good bit of fuel to where they would have enough to make it, but it just kind of petered out. We both hit them with JT and I both hit them with crisis cards, and they failed both of them, and that really cramped them up a little bit. So we had Centurions on board Galactica. We had 3 Centurions on board Galactica that were going to wreak havoc, and it was a great time though. I really enjoyed it. I hope JT and Mel really enjoyed it. I think they did, but it was a very pleasurable experience, and so that was another highlight. One of the games that I was introduced to by a good friend of mine, Ilya, from used to do Warful reviews back. He's from Estonia, and he actually spent a lot of time with us. We had an extra table seat at our table, and he came and joined us for dinner a few times, and then he showed us First Rat, which I really enjoy. I hope I can get a copy of it somehow, because it is just a very pleasurable experience. We played just the base game. There's the board has a second side to it where you can actually set the board up randomly, and I'm really looking forward to trying to get that to the table. I got to find a copy of it first, though. We really enjoyed that a lot. Showed it to JT, showed it to Mel, and showed it to my wife, and Dante played it as well. We all really enjoyed it. So We actually we played the game 3 times, and I only finished it once. Ilya taught it to us, and that's the game that I finished. And then I tried to teach it to Jesse and Dante, and we had to stop that game. And I tried to teach it to JT and Mel with myself, Jesse, and Jim, and we had to stop that game short as well. So it's just we were trying to squeeze it in with not enough time. That's basically what it is. But we really enjoyed that game. I know Jesse really enjoyed the new version of Silver and Gold. I'll let her talk about that though, because I actually didn't play it. She did. That was a good time though. It was the Sean Connery one. Oh wow, that's very informative, Jesse. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I saw the video of the falls. It looked really cool. Yeah, it was. Let me know how those shorts. Those shorts were just something I did as kind of like a bare minimum to just keep, videos going up while we were gone. I guess I probably could have done more, but I wanted to kind of focus on my time with there rather than focus on, put too much into things going up on the channel, and the shorts were kind of my compromise there. So hopefully those were enjoyable. So let me know what you thought about those. Let's see here. I love sightseeing, so I'd be all over those excursions. Yep. Were you able to partake in any of the cruise food? That's all the Dice Cryo crew talks about half the time. Well, I do have to kind of confess, I did try to stay as protein heavy as possible, but with that being said, there's not a whole lot of protein desserts. And oh my goodness, the desserts at night, at the dinner, at the dining table, at the dining hall, they are something else. The desserts in the Windjammer, the buffet, whatever. They were good, but they weren't like, I need to have them good. Whenever we went to the Windjammer, I think I was a pretty good boy most of the time. But I tried to stay to no, sugar-free type stuff and so what. And then for my main dishes, I tried to keep, it was pretty easy. It was pretty easy, but I think I ate too much. I did gain 4 pounds while I was there. So that's going to come off here pretty quick because I'm already back to my regular diet of watching the portion sizes and all that kind of stuff. And Jess said that she didn't gain any weight. So there you have it. One of the Dice Tower videos implied there would be Blood Rage on the cruise since Sam was going to be there. I did actually play Blood Rage. I played Blood Rage, a 5-player game of Blood Rage. Michael and Sarah, Michael West and Sarah West, husband-wife combo, they asked me if I would teach it to them, and I absolutely said yes. When I got there was another guy that wanted to play, so we played a 5-player game of it, because Jess was going to play with us as well. It was, I had a blast playing the game, had a great time playing the game, as I always will playing Blood Rage, but it did solidify my resolve on staying away from 5-player games of Blood Rage. Adding that 5th player just prolongs the game. It doesn't do anything else other than produce more time. So it's not, in my opinion, it's not worth that extra player. We all, it was Michael and Sarah's first time playing the game, but they still didn't do that poorly. It took them a while to catch on, and the other guy that was playing, our 5th player, he had played the game before, so he was being a little bit more, shall we say, assertive during his turns. And so that hampered all of us a lot. So it was a pretty low-scoring game. I did win. I won with, I think, 129 points, and then the other gentleman, I can't remember his name. I'm so horrible with names. I apologize. But he came in with, I think, 116, And then the next place after that was, I think, Michael with around 80 some odd points. And then Sarah came in with around 70 some odd points. And then Jesse came in with around 60 some odd points, I believe. Something like that. So it was a fun experience. I probably would have played it more if more people had asked me, but I'm not going to force it on them. I was able to teach a game of NAR to a guy, Brandon, and his dad. They were from Dallas. That was a cool experience because I was able to share one of my favorite games from last year with somebody else. And I didn't play the game with them because I was about to get into a game of Massive Darkness 2. But was it Massive Darkness? Yes, it was. But Dante played with them, so it was a little 3-player game of NAR, and he said that they both played it. They played it twice. They played it once after I got it through explaining it to them, and then they played it again. So it's one of those games that plays fast enough to where you're like, okay, cool, I get it. Let's play it again. And they really enjoyed it. They really enjoyed it. And Dante came away asking if we owned the game because he wanted to play it more. So that's a cool thing as well. Let's see here. Oh, there was Blood Rage. And can you guess who won? The Vikings. Yes, the Vikings won. Very good. Travis Hooper. I'm guessing it was Sam second tie. Nope. Don't hate me for not watching shorts. I loathe YouTube shorts. No worries at all. Not worried about that at all. Videos are great. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate that. David Brownlee, I thought the shorts were pretty good advertisements for the follow-up trip report videos. Cool. Good. Gaining weight on the cruise seems like a common thing. It is, but it's not going to stay around. It's going to fall off pretty soon. Can I ask about Blood Rage, Darius says. Is there any way to make this game more balanced so Loki strategy wouldn't be so obvious OP? I'm actually, Darius, I disagree that it's obviously overpowered. There are, for example, if you are teaching a game and you, as the teacher, the one who is experienced with the game, employ the Loki strategy to a bunch of people who have not experienced the game yet, absolutely correct. It is overpowered because you're going to be able to draft all of the cards that work together unbeknownst to the other people that are in the game of what's going on. But if you have people who are experienced with the game that all know that the Loki strategy exists, it is not overpowered at all. Because you're going to have people that are hate drafting, and I use that word flippantly because it is. Hate drafting just means that I'm going to draft this card so that you can't get it, so that you can't use it in your strategy that I clearly can see that you're employing. It is not OP if you have other people in the game that are counteracting it. Because if you're playing a 4-player game, one person doesn't have to it doesn't have to be just one person that's hate drafting. All 3 of you do. And most of the cards that are in the Loki strategy, except for the battle cards are pretty much just losing the game. But the other ones in the game, you can use them as kind of an addendum to whatever other strategy you're running. So hate drafting a Loki strategy card isn't really going to hurt you that much. But it is going to hurt the person who's doing the Loki strategy a lot. Because now their entire strategy is posted and they're dead in the water unless they're able to pick some other strategy up and run with it. So I really don't think that the Loki strategy is OP. I think if you let it run on its own and you don't try to counteract it, absolutely it's overpowered. But so is almost any other thing. And in the game, if somebody has the if somebody's doing the Loki strategy, stay away from them. Because in order for this Loki strategy to work, they have to die. If they don't die, they don't get the Glorious Deaths cards. They don't get the release from Valhalla points a bit later on. And even if they do, they're not getting a lot. So there's ways to stop the Loki strategy. You just have to know how to do it. And I've played with plenty of people who definitely knew how to stop it. And they stopped the Loki strategy dead in its tracks. I had to re-evaluate and try a different strategy, or at least supplement the Loki strategy with something else. If I'm playing with experienced people, rarely can I do a clean Loki strategy and run away with it. But I can do bits and pieces of it. So it's just really how you play the game. It's not the strategy in and of itself. I love the fact that the strategy exists, because it turns the idea of gaming on its head. You can win by losing. I love that. You need to keep the Loki cards away from that one guy who goes crazy for it. Play with the drafting and take them, LOL. Time for sleep. Have a good one. See you later, Terry Halo. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Jesse. And Date got to learn Nar too. He loved it. Yep, he did. Hello, Gospel Kingdom Westside. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. I'll hit Night Watch while I'm in San Antonio, and I'll tell them Sam sent me if I buy something. If I don't, who should I blame? Anybody you want, but me. Thank you for suggestions, but in my opinion, if you must counteract, it is some kind of unbalance. Well, again, I'm also not a person that believes that all things should be balanced. I actually, now, with that being said, let me give a good example. Memoir 44, one of my favorite games in existence. The scenarios are not balanced. They are not balanced between one side and the other because they're based on history. So the way you're supposed to play Memoir 44 is you are supposed to play 2 games at one sitting, where each of you take one side and the other, and whoever has the highest differential of points, that's the winner. But the game is designed that way. It's designed with imbalance because you're supposed to play two battles. Well, you're supposed to play the same battle 2 times, and whoever has the highest differential wins. I like stuff like that. I like variable player powers that are, and now again, I know variable player powers can be balanced, and I know that they most of the time are, but they at least give the perception of imbalance. And I like having that, because how am I going to leverage my strengths against your weaknesses? And how are you going to leverage your strengths against my weaknesses? And I like games that make you do that. So having to counteract something, in my opinion, doesn't mean that it's imbalanced. It means that it's a thing that you have to plan for. You have to keep an eye out for it. You have to be mindful of the fact that somebody could be trying to do this. So if one guy keeps going in there with just one dude and then picks a fight, you know what he's trying to do. So how can you do that? Squash him. Squash him. Just squash him. Because one of the things that is necessary for Loki strategy is time. Because you have to have more time in order to get as many of your dudes into Valhalla as possible. And so if the round ends prematurely, that can devastate. That can really hurt a person who's running the Loki strategy. So again, I don't think it's a flaw of the game, and I don't know. You haven't really said that either. There is only one clear, easy strategy in this game, but thank you for your tips. Hey, no problem. But you haven't really said that it's a flaw, but you're kind of leaning that way, that it's a flaw of the game. And so I don't want to say that it's a flaw, mainly because I have a lot of respect for Eric Lang and his design capabilities. If that is in the game, it's because he wanted it there and it was purposeful. It's not a flaw. It wasn't a mistake. He designed it that way on purpose. And I think it's a thematic design as well, because Loki was a jerk. I mean, he just was a jerk. And so you have to deal with that, you know? So it's not for everybody. And I say that all the time. Not all games are going to be for everybody. But I really enjoy it, and I can see how it would rub people the wrong way, but it's just, I really do like it. If most games had a lose to win strategy, I'd be unstoppable. Vanessa, that's funny. I love different faction abilities in Scythe. Really changes how you play depending on what you get. Yeah, that's true. And that's one of the things that I like about it. And it's also one of the things that I really love about Blood Rage. The different abilities that you give your clan really change how you play. And there are so many different ways to learn how to play. It's just kind of doing the game a little bit of a disservice to focus so heavily upon the Loki strategy, when really it is easily avoidable. If everybody kind of just takes one for the team at least once per draft, no one person has all those cards. That's the only way that a Loki strategy is overpowered, is if you allow one person to get all of those cards. Now, I will say this. I have played people, Vernon Piper, I'm looking at you, you lucky, stinking weasel, where fate will simply determine that that person is going to be able to get that card in their opening hand. He did it. We were specifically looking for over 2 rounds that we were going to try to make sure that he did not get. And for the second and third age, he got both of those cards in his opening hand. And of course he took them. That's just shuffling. That's just fate. There's nothing you can do about that. And yeah, it happened. And yeah, he ran away with the game. But it didn't diminish my enjoyment of the game because it was just fun anyway. Lang is human after all. That is true. That is true. Godfather is the best game in the world. That's funny. I don't want to steal chat. I'm just a little sad that they didn't implement something as much as powerful as Loki. It's the only thing that keeps me thinking Blood Rage is the best in the world. I get you. It's again, you're not hijacking chat. You're not stealing chat or anything like that. We're just having a conversation, and everybody's here. They can pipe up if they want to. But First Class by Z-Man really seems to have flown under the radar. I would agree with you. I think it's great. Ryan says, I remember you reviewing it and being surprised with how much you like it. Do you still enjoy it? I have not played it, but it is right over there. 1, 2, 3, 4 up, right above Rafter and Sola Fide. So yes, I do still own it. Haven't played it in a while, but it is criminally underlooked, I think, or rather overlooked. Get back to the cruise. Yes. Well, what other things were we talking about? I got about 10 minutes left. Other highlights of the cruise. Got to play TM Tom. He's one of our moderators here on the channel. He and Kabuki do a great job moderating our videos, our live shows. So thank you to you guys. But Tom and Mary Beth, his wife, they were both on the cruise, and so I got to meet Tom. And we got to talk to them for a little bit, and we also got to play back in time with them. That was a really fun experience. I had to walk away a little bit early because I had to go get ready for a show that I was partaking in with the Dice Tower guys. So, but it was really fun to just sit down and play a game with them that they really enjoyed. And that they've clearly played many times. I had played it once. JT taught it to us, and we own it, but I just haven't been able to get it back to the table. But I do remember enjoying it when we played it with JT, and absolutely, it's one of those games that Prospero Hall and Funko Games came out with that is super simple to play, but it's super also kind of thematic as well, if you've watched the show. And that's what I've liked about all of those movie board games that Prospero Hall and Funko Games came out with. I really enjoyed all of them because they really seem to be able to capture the vibe that the movie put out with their mechanisms, and I love it when games do that. super bad news for me, at least, that Goliath bought out Funko Games and then proceeded to lay off almost their entire staff. I think maybe a few were kept on, but most, if not all, of their staff were let go. And now Goliath is going to be putting out all of the Funko games. So at least that's the silver lining, I suppose. The games aren't going to go away. They're still going to be produced. And Goliath made an announcement that they're still going to be making more. So I don't know exactly what that means, but that was kind of a real big bummer for me over that when that news came out, because I've really enjoyed Prospero Hall's stuff. I think they did a great job. I think they were. It's just kind of a bummer. Hopefully, Goliath is able to do the work on keeping that. I don't want to overstate it and call it innovation, but just they were kind of on the, I guess, cutting edge is still saying innovation, but it was just a bummer to see that happen because I've liked so many of their games. Hopefully they'll continue, and hopefully the quality won't diminish. Let's see here. Q back in time from Huey Lewis. Yep. I wish some type of big expansion or some type of new content was announced for Blood Rage, new map, new cards per age, or monsters. Wish Eric would revisit it someday. Also, hello everyone. Just Ray. I am under the impression that there is a redo of Blood Rage that is in the near future. I heard that somewhere, and I don't know how valid or how accurate it is, but I think it's happening. So keep your eyes open for that. Are you able to review older games for your channel? Yes. Not restricted by non-compete agreements from past employers. I'm looking at Red Planet and Fire and Axe above your head. Mission Red Planet and Fire and Axe? Oh. Yeah. Fire and Axe. Red Planet. You're talking about Mission Red Planet? Where is that? Oh, right here. Yeah. Fire and Axe is one of my favorite games. I mean, hands down. That's why it's here. This actual shelf are like some of my favorite games. You know, you've got Twilight Imperium 4, Blood Rage, Champions of Midgard. That's another game. I love Champions of Midgard. We got to play it. I was so excited to play it, and I got hosed. And I mean hosed at the beginning of the game, and I struggled. Came in dead last. Struggled the entire game. I was so deflated during the game, and I got a little spicy, and I have to apologize to those. I was playing with Mel, JT, and Dante, and I got so spicy in that game, and I have to apologize for that because, my goodness, I was so excited to play Champions of Midgard. It's been so long since I played it, and then I got literally hosed by a card going up to I can't remember, not the Burgosaurs. The Burgosaurs. I was going up to fight one of the Burgosaurs, the giants. Got hosed by one of the cards and had to lose like 2/3 of the force that I sent up there. And then we played a rule wrong where I should have gotten the Valhalla tokens for all of those, even though they died before the battle. But it just, a lot of things went wrong for that game for me, and I got spicy, and I shouldn't have. But I really enjoyed the experience, even though I got hosed. But I really enjoyed Champions of Midgard. But anyway, to answer your question, no, I'm not restricted by non-compete agreements or past employers or anything like that. So that I'm aware of. I guess we'll have to find out, but I don't think so. But here's the thing. Even if I was restricted, quote unquote, I've always been honest. Even when I worked for the companies, I've always been honest about how I felt about games. So I don't think I would say anything different than I did when I worked for those companies. when I worked for Mythic Games, if I was excited about a game, it's because I like the game. It's not because I was working and trying to be pseudo excited, fake excited because it's my company that was the company that I worked for that was making it. That's not how I roll. If I was excited about a game, it's because I was enjoying the game. I mean, Hell the Last Saga, super excited about that. Anastyr, super excited. Darkest Dungeon, super excited. I enjoyed all of those games. Solomon Kane, Super Fantasy Brawl, Steam Watchers. I enjoyed all of their games. That's why I like working for Mythic Games so much. Enchanters, I enjoyed it, but it was probably, the last on the list as far as how much I like the games. But I still could enjoy the game. Just was one that I didn't enjoy as much as the other ones. Reichbusters, I loved that game too. So I've never been dishonest about whether or not I liked the game, whether it was a game the company I was working for was making or not. If I was excited about the game, it's because I was excited about the game, not because I was doing my job. So that's just how it is. I too was super bummed about Prospero Hall. Yep, I can hear it. Blood Eater Rage. Did you ever watch the movie The Northman? Wild Viking movie from a couple years back. Yeah, I think I did watch that. I think I started watching it and then I didn't finish it. But I do know the movie you're talking about. But yeah, Champions of Midgard is good. I remember liking Reavers also, but only played it once. Yeah, Reavers is also a good game. A little bit more Euro-y than Champions was, but still fun. I had a game of Champions like that once. It sucks when it happens. Thankfully, that was the only time I had a bad experience. I didn't really have a bad experience. I just got really... I took the risk. I knew the risk was there. I took the risk, and it just really... it's because we had just talked about it. I just asked JT, so what's the range of the cards that are in those journey cards up at the burger stores? And he said, well, you could have to pay 2 gold for every fighter that you send up there, or 1 gold per fighter that you send up there. There is that in there. And I was like, okay, well, what's the odds? I'm thinking internally, what are the odds of that card coming up at the very beginning of the game? And sure enough, boom, there it is. So it's just one of those times where it just happened to be. There's only 2 of those cards in the entire Journeys deck for the Burgess, and it happened to be on the top of the deck. So it's just, that's the way it is. It wasn't a question about review integrity. I was just thinking if you already did a review of a game for another channel, oh, I see. You might have an agreement that says you cannot create a competing video. Ah, I see. No, I don't have, I can ask Tom, I guess. And I probably would. And I would imagine he would say he doesn't care. Because generally speaking, I would imagine any reviews that I put out for the Dice Tower have already had their heyday. I'm not going to keep them afloat by my previous reviews. So I don't think he'll have a problem for it. But that's something I could ask him, I guess. But I don't think he'd have a problem with it. The fact that we haven't already had that conversation, because he's the kind of guy that will have that conversation ahead of time. So since we haven't had that conversation, I don't think it would be a thing. Other things about Dice Tower Cruise. What else did we do? I was able to have be part of 2 of the shows. The first one was the top 5 games that are not in the Dice Tower library, and then I was able to be part of the final, the last night's game show, and all of those were super fun. It was super good to see all the guys again and gals, and they were all very welcoming, and I can't express enough that Dice Tower fans are some of the best people in the hobby, because they're so gracious, they're so welcoming, and they're so, I don't know, they're just nice people. That's the best way I can put it. And they were all very welcoming. A lot of people were saying, "Hey, welcome back," that kind of thing, and some people inferred from overhearing other people say "welcome back" to me that I was going to be coming back, that I was back with the Dice Tower, and I had to say no, that wasn't the case. But they simply meant welcome back to the cruise. That's the context in which they were saying. So I had to say that, but it was cool because even the person that asked me about that, they were excited about the proposition, about the perceived possibility. So I was very grateful for that as well. So it was really cool. I can't wait to share my stories from the cruise. Oops, I meant I can't wait. Of course, then the issue is availability. New reviews of older games are nice to see how they are holding up. Yeah, I know, absolutely, and I like that. I like that ability, and I would be absolutely down for doing that. I'll probably still use my new live review format though, just because I like doing live reviews. It makes it a little bit easier for me to get them out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. All right, well, it is 3:03. I do need to get out of here because I do have to go pick up my youngest, Aiden. We have to basically divide and conquer today. We've got 2 kids doing 2 different things in 2 different directions. So Aiden has weightlift, strength and conditioning practice for football, and Dante has his practice, French horn practice. They're both at 4 o'clock. And so we have to basically divide and conquer and get that done. And so I have to go pick up Aiden, and Jess is going to be taking Dante. So everything is cool. Everything today has gone pretty well. I was able to get a script written that I need to do for a segment coming up. That's a cool thing. I guess I'll end with this. There's some pretty cool news coming down tomorrow that I'm super excited about, and I'll wait for that to hit the airwaves before I talk about it. But that's going to be super fun news to talk about. I do have. I've been invited to be part of the Our Family Plays Games Voices show. So that's the script I was getting typed up today and ready to shoot for hopefully tomorrow if I hear back from Starla and Mick about that, because I did share my script with them before I'm going to record. So I'm looking forward to that. Putting together the Philharmonics preview video that I'm doing for them. Their Kickstarter is happening February 11th, I believe. So be on the lookout for that. It's I'm not going to really give an opinion on it because that's not what the preview is all about, but it's worth a gander. I'll put it that way. It's worth a gander. Can't say it's going to be for everybody, but it's a pretty cool theme. Anyway, I'm not going to go much further than that. The preview video is going to be basically a commercial for the game. So I'm not really saying yay or nay on it because that's not what a preview video is. But you'll get to take a look at it once we get that posted. It's going to be posted later on. We're also going to be doing a live playthrough of the game during their campaign, so that's coming up in the near future as well. Cormac is something that we're going to be doing as well, playing through that, so I'm looking forward to it. So there's a lot of cool stuff on the horizon. I'm looking forward to it all, and got to get out of here now, though, because if I don't, I'm going to be late. Sam, you're the man. Take care, brother. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. David Brownlee, fine. I'll start packing. 3 kids going in different directions. Well, the 3rd kid has her own car back now. We were able to pick up the Subaru from the shop, and it's all ready to go. So that 3rd one she has her own transportation. We don't have to worry about that. 6 past midnight, time to get some sleep. Absolutely. Go get some sleep. Thank you all for joining me. I certainly appreciate it. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.